What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another Tottenham update and some really big news today. But before we get into that, let me tell you about the t-shirts that we have in stock at the moment. We have just restocked a certain amount of numbers, so we've got a lot more of the Sonny t-shirts, a few more of the Italian Job t-shirts, so get them before they're gone, because we've had an unbelievable amount of orders. So thank you very much, guys. People seem to really like the Sonny t-shirts. Well, he is the Golden Boot winner now, so get your shirts while you can. Link is in the description below. But now let's get into the juicy news, and the biggest story of the day is coming out of Tottenham. And ENIC, Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy have injected 150 million into Tottenham, with the funds going towards helping Antonio Conte strengthen his squad ahead of the new Premier League season. And there has been a statement from Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur. And what's been said in that statement?
Yeah, incredible stuff from Spurs. It really does seem like a sliding doors moment for Tottenham, this announcement. It says Tottenham Hotspur Limited has today, Tuesday 24th of May, agreed a capital increase of up to 150 million from majority shareholder ENIC Sports via the issue of convertible A shares and accompanying warrants. Daniel Levy has gone and said delivery of a world-class home was always a key building block in driving diversified revenues to enable us to invest in the team and support our ambitions to be consistently competing at the highest levels of European football. Additional capital from ENIC will now enable further investment in the club at an important time. Jonathan Turner, an independent non-executive director, said, "We are pleased to welcome this investment, which demonstrates the unequivocal support and commitment of our majority shareholder ENIC. It is a timely injection of funds to ensure we can continue to grow the club we all love and underlines the board's continued ambition for success." Significant investment that has been made in the training centre, player accommodation and multi-use stadium, creating a state-of-the-art facilities to support the club's sporting ambitions. The new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with a capacity of close to 63,000 spectators, was completed in 2019. It has set new standards for the world's best sporting arenas, whilst also having a positive impact on the local economy. It's continuing to act as a driving force in the continued regeneration of North Tottenham, London and the surrounding area. Sorry. The club has increased revenues from both football and non-football related activities.
That's how much you can't believe this.
I'm just so excited. I'm lost for words. It says the club has increased revenues from both football and non-football related activities, all for reinvestment in its football teams. In recent months, the stadium has hosted NFL, boxing, English Premiership Rugby Union, and this summer we'll see concerts including international music artists Lady Gaga and Guns N' Roses. The club has a growing number of visitor attractions such as Skywalk tours and the OOF Art Gallery, along with conferences and events. Rothschild & Co. advised the independent directors of the club. Very exciting news, really exciting news that finally ENIC is injecting some money into the club. It's taken a long time. We haven't seen this level of investment, I don't think, ever in ENIC's tenure. Between 2010 and 2020, ENIC invested 15 million into the club in that 10-year period. So what a day for Tottenham.
It's amazing news. It really is. We've been very, vocal about ENIC and our stance on the board, and, giving them the kind of flack that they have deserved over the last few years. But this is what we've all wanted. This is what we've been calling for, and this is the kind of direction that we've been calling on ENIC to take this club. And I cannot be happier. And I think, look, there's still a long way to go in terms of getting the right people in through the door, but I'm fully on board with it now. And you've got to say that with that money, with Perisic and Conte at the helm, this club is going in the right direction. It really is.
They've finally put their money where their mouth is. That's the that's what we're seeing. I'm hoping anyway. At the moment, they obviously have stated in the statement that it's for football on and off the pitch. But look, I'm thinking, look, with all the noise we're hearing from Ali Gold and all the other journalists saying what they're hearing, Tottenham are fully prepared to back Antonio Conte this summer, and that's all the noise coming out of the club. That's what got us really excited at the end of the season. So that all that noise backed up by the club statement now that they have injected 150 million, which will go on top of Champions League revenue and go on top of Premier League TV money, and all that revenue will go on top of player sales as well. So all of that, including on top of that, we'll get another 150 million invested by the owners. There has to be money there now in this summer for Antonio Conte to improve the squad and to invest in the team. There's got to be no excuses this summer now. It's an unbelievable bit of news from Tottenham. It gets everyone very excited.
We said when we qualified for the top 4, there were no excuses. Now, with that extra investment into it, you got to be excited. You got to be excited as a Spurs fan now. You just have to be. And whatever anyone says about the board, now is the time to show your support for them, because they have put the money into the club. They put their money where their mouth is. This is what all fans, what ENIC out people have been calling on for so many years. Like my brother said, in the previous, 21 years or previous 10 years, they've only invested 15 million.
Since 2010, yeah.
Only 15 million. And now, with Antonio Conte at the helm, and we know that he only stays if he's going to get backed and if he knows that he can succeed for big things or fight for big things at this football club. And with this investment, with all the other investment and kind of revenue that we're making around it, with the stadium revenue as well, surely Antonio Conte thinks he's in the right place now.
Do you think we're finally starting to see ENIC's vision for Spurs, or is it too early to say that?
Look, I think that it's a step in the right direction in terms of seeing ENIC's vision for Spurs. You're seeing the stadium, you're seeing the training ground, all the stuff that's happening off the pitch, which has clearly been part of ENIC's vision. Now with this investment, I think. Look, I don't think that we can get 1 million 100% behind the board just yet. We need to see how this develops. We can't just go, okay, they've invested 150 million and that's it. No, we need to see how this develops first as well. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that I'm completely on board with ENIC. I'm completely ENIC in, but this is a step in the right direction. This is a step in the right direction. And anyone that has been vocal about ENIC out, I think that it's time to put that on pause for a bit and just see how this goes now.
Yeah, because I think we can't. There's nothing more we can say. It's like what I said in November. When everyone was going mad about the ownership, and rightly so. But once Antonio Conte was appointed, I said, I'm not going to go mad at the board, because this is what I wanted. I wanted Antonio Conte. I wanted a world-class manager, and they've made a step in the right direction in righting some wrongs. So I can't criticise them for that. And the same goes for now. I can't criticise them for this. This is exactly what we've been all calling for. Inject some money into the cash, show some ambition, and actually help us in trying to reach the goals that all Tottenham fans want. And I think this will go a long way to making sure Antonio Conte stays during the summer, and will go a long way to making sure that he gets the right tools next season. And maybe, just maybe, Tottenham can start challenging for very big things. I still think we're a long way off, cutting the gap to City and Liverpool, and I don't think it can be done just one summer, but we can definitely cut the gap in terms of start competing, and also Champions League and domestic cups and stuff like that. No reason why not with some of the players we already have in the squad. Definitely we need some new investment, but look, I couldn't be more excited now. It's a very exciting time, backed up by what we were saying at the end of this live stream yesterday, that has there ever been a more exciting time to support Tottenham, and now that just reinforces it even more.
Absolutely. And,
brilliant.
Look, like I said before, we've been so vocal in our kind of views against the board and stuff like that. Me personally, I think I'm going to put that to one side now and see how this develops. As much as you lay into them when they have done something wrong, and they've done a lot of things wrong over the past few years, you have to give credit where credit's due, and that's the time for that now, in my opinion.
Definitely. And fair play to ENIC and fair play to Levy. A lot of people have been tweeting about Levy now over the past half an hour since the news broke. And fair play to him. He's done what he said he was always going to do, which is invest in the club. And a lot of people didn't believe him, but it seems to be true.
Well, let's see how it develops now, but very exciting times ahead. And now with that investment, let's talk about some transfers and the rumours doing the rounds today. And it looks as though the first transfer after this big news is going to be Fraser Forster, everyone.
Excitement.
Fraser Forster. Everyone
get
excited. Fabrizio Romano tweeted today that Fraser Forster has already reached a full agreement with Tottenham to join them as a backup goalkeeper. He's now expected to sign the contract as a new Spurs signing. Fraser Forster will replace Pierluigi Gallini, who's set to return to Atalanta as backup goalkeeper for Tottenham Hotspur. My opinion on this is that, when you compare him to Sam Johnston, maybe I would have preferred a Sam Johnston, younger, and maybe potentially a better goalkeeper. I've always kind of thought Fraser Forster's not that great of a goalkeeper. As a backup, I don't really mind him, but I have seen him have some good performances this season. Man City, Arsenal games, stuff like that. So I think as a backup, I don't have too many problems with it. But if Lloris does get injured next season, we could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a concern. But I think actually Forster's impressed me this season because I thought he was finished as a goalkeeper. And he's actually had a pretty decent season for Southampton. So I got to give him credit for that. Although I do remember that one game when they played us. What a mistake he made, didn't he, for that goal? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, God, I hope he never does that in a Tottenham shirt. But he's lucky he got away with it. They gave a foul. But looks like he's going to... Look, it's going to be a stopgap. I wouldn't even be surprised, to be honest, if we signed another keeper on top of it and make him third choice. Because he's very much the kind of third choice mould kind of keeper for me. Although, to be fair, he has been number one for most of the season at Southampton and done pretty well. So fair play to him. But look, free transfer, I think 34, 35. He's definitely getting on a bit.
Hugo.
Yeah. Similar age, but nowhere near as good. That's for sure. But look, fair play. We're getting him on a free. I think it's more to do with the homegrown quota, and I think it's just seen probably as the club as an easy win in terms of boosting the homegrown numbers. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, but it was all like a few weeks ago. It all seemed like Sam Johnston was due, was like a definite to come in. And suddenly in the last hour, it looks as though we've chosen against it and gone for Fraser Forster. I don't really know the reasonings behind it.
I've heard conflicting things. Well, some people saying Romano said he was never serious interest. We had never seriously interested in Johnson. And then I've heard from other people saying...
Gold says it's going to happen, didn't he, a few weeks ago?
And I've heard from other people saying Johnson rejected us because he had other offers. Right. So with either more money or more guarantees of playing time. So I'm not 100% sure what to believe. By the way, looks like Johnston from Forster is the one coming in.
All right. So it looks like Fraser Forster will be our first signing of the summer. A free transfer to get ready for that 150 million investment from the club.
Exactly.
But let's talk about Christian Romero now. Fabrizio Romano says Tottenham will activate the 40 million obligation to buy clause in the coming days for Christian Romero. So it looks as though the first bit of money to be spent will be on Christian Romero for that 40 million. And look, there's no secret about our feelings about Christian Romero. I gave him my signing of the season for Spurs. I think he's been absolutely stellar, head and shoulders above any defender we have, and he's a bit of a Rolls Royce of a defender. And I'm loving what I've been seeing from him, and I can't wait what the future holds for him as well. Yeah, he's been a fantastic signing. I think apparently the money is going to be paid over 5 years. I read it's obviously not going to be all up front. I don't think any deal's paid all up front anymore. Yeah, in any deal. So I don't think a big chunk of the money from that's been invested in will go on him, but I think we had to agree the deal. We had to make sure we got it over the line because there was no chance we were letting him go after what we've seen so far in a Tottenham shirt. It would be crazy to. So I was conflicting again. Some people saying option, Romano saying obligation to buy. So maybe the deal was just automatically activated anyway. But fantastic signing. Can't wait to see more of him next season, and hopefully he's going to be part of a very strong back line. Yeah, I don't have this in the update, but I believe Romano was saying yesterday about Kulusevski as well, that we're actually going to loan him for another year and then take the option at the end of next season. Yeah, so when we signed Kulusevski, I was under the impression that it was announced as if we get Champions League, the option to buy becomes an obligation. But apparently that's for next season, not for this season. Yeah. So apparently it was so unrealistic that we would make Champions League. So next season, if he starts over 20 games, if he plays 45 minutes in over 20 games, and we get Champions League, one or the other, then it becomes an obligation to buy. Right now it's still an option, but apparently we're going to loan him for next season again. Apparently we paid a 2 million loan fee between January and now, and then we're going to pay 7 million next season, and then it's going to be the obligation. For how much? I think 27 million or something. So how much will that be all together? About 35 million, basically. What a deal. Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, right, Kulusevski and Romero for a joint fee of like around 80 million. Yeah. Ballpark figure. Pretty good. Arsenal signed Pepe for 72 million. Yeah. Brilliant. Harry Maguire cost 75 million or 80 million, 80 million, you know what I mean? What absolutely Pogba cost 90 million. Great business. Great business from Tottenham Hotspur. So big up to two top quality players there. Let's talk about some more potential incomings in terms of Raheem Sterling. Mike McGrath from The Telegraph saying that Antonio Conte is interested in Raheem Sterling. We had a message from our source saying that Conte really does want Raheem Sterling, but wasn't sure if Levy would pay the wages. This was before the news of the investment. Now we do have this investment. Is there a chance?
You never know.
He's on 300k at City.
He's on a lot of money, so would Kane be happy if he came in and he was on more than him? Probably not. Kane would probably want parity with him.
Kane needs a new contract.
I'm saying he would probably want more parity with whoever the top earner is, because Kane has to be the top earner for sure. In terms of Sterling, look, there's been rumours he's spoken about how he's not 100% happy, hasn't he? He has spoken about potentially moving abroad per se. Do I think there's a possibility he comes to Tottenham? I still find it highly unlikely. I feel like, why would he leave Man City? I feel like if he's going to come to Tottenham, he might as well stay at Man City. I don't see the reason why he would leave Man City to come to Spurs, unless he's so unhappy at City that he would rather go to a team who's less likely to challenge for the Premier League than the one he's already at. That wouldn't make sense to me.
If you've got a front three of Son, Kane and Kulusevski, I mean, where does Sterling, because he's not going to come here to be a rotation player, will he?
Of course not.
He's going to come here to start more or less the majority of games. So where does he fit in?
I think Sterling is one of those who I think is as comfortable on the right as he is on the left.
So you think
he's pretty versatile.
Spot?
I don't think I see it like that. I just think he comes in. I don't think he takes Kulu's spot, but for sure, Kulu's the one most at risk in terms of like in the big games. But there's going to be so many games to share around with us being Champions League and challenging for domestic cups. That's you need a squad. So I don't see it as he's taking Kulu's spot. But like for example, Son, if Son can't play any game or any injury, then he's there, or he can start loads of games. Sterling's one of those easily good enough to play his way into the team, make himself undroppable.
Can he play the backup striker role as well?
He's done that for City. Not that great, I would say, not that to the best of his ability, but he has played striker up for City. I wouldn't mind it. I would probably rather Son up top and Sterling out on the left, if that was to ever be the case.
Yeah.
And I think it would definitely work against teams, for example, Liverpool. I think for him and Sterling and Son against Liverpool, working the spaces would be brilliant on a counter-attack. I just imagine that. I would love Sterling. I know a lot of people, for some reason, wouldn't be excited about him. I think he'd be a brilliant signing for Tottenham.
I think he's a top-class player. He really is. I just find it hard to believe that he'll come to us.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think he's going to earn more money at Tottenham than he would at City. He's not going to have more chances of trophies than he would at City. Is he guaranteed that much more playing time at Tottenham than he is at City? Probably not. Maybe a bit more, but he's getting a lot of playing time at City. It's not like he's ever playing.
He's played 31 Premier League games this season.
So he's not guaranteed more than that at Tottenham. So I don't see why this makes sense.
Yeah.
We have heard though that Conte definitely likes him. So.
Well, we'll see how this one plans out, but I definitely have my reservations about it. Let's move on. Let's talk about Giovanni Lo Celso. Ali Gold saying that Villarreal and Real Betis are two teams looking at Giovanni Lo Celso for a transfer this summer. Obviously, he's played for both clubs. We signed him off Betis and we loaned him out to Villarreal. So two clubs that know him really well. He's had a really successful loan spell now at Villarreal, and it's good that he's drumming up interest.
Yeah, and look, Conte apparently says there's no way back for him, into the Tottenham team. So it's best we get rid of him. Add whatever money we get for Lo Celso, we're going to add that to the war chest. Exactly, which is already being built. Which is so I don't think it's also significant considering we've got all these players like Ndombele and Lo Celso and other players who we really want to get rid of, and we're still investing money into the club on top of that, not waiting for these players to be sold and stuff like that, which is really good. But yeah, I think at this point, just take what you can get. Hopefully you can get between 25 million, something like that, 30 million, and move on. Just because it's all these different problems. When there's too many of them, they add up and cause a distraction. So I think with players like Ndombele and Lo Celso, clearly it just hasn't worked. So you move on from it and we can move forward. Because right now they're still just hanging on like a piece of fruit rotting from a tree, just hanging on. It's like
I think
need a break.
I would say it's probably more the case of Ndombele than Lo Celso. I mean, it's going to be hard to shift off Tanguy, man. It's going to be hard to shift.
Just the longer they hang around, the more problems it causes. You know what I mean? You just want a break so we can just move on from it.
Absolutely. Let's move on. Let's talk about Bastoni again. Ali Gold saying that Antonio Conte and Fabio Paratici adore or Alessandro Bastoni from Inter Milan. We've brought you in the past that it looks like Inter are going to be looking at between a minimum of 50-60 million for Bastoni. With this investment that we've got now, this could be a real goer.
I hope it doesn't put the price up. Now we've got this investment, which is very likely, but 100% it could be a goer, and maybe that's an indication that we're going, that whoever our A target is, that's what we're going for. And if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, we can't say we didn't try, and that's the most important thing. Because usually I just feel like whenever we have an A target, what we usually do is we put the feelers out. We're like, is he available? And they go, no. We go, okay, we'll go then. or they go, yeah, he is available for this amount. Oh, we can't pay that, so no worries.
It's not even that. He's like, he's available for 40 million. All right, we'll give you 15. You know what I mean?
And then they go, sorry, that's not enough. They go, okay, we'll go to our B target. And that's it. And as we just work our way to our
all right, we'll give you 14.
So hopefully there's a change in approach there. And maybe that could look, there are a lot of rumours coming out saying Inter need to sell one big sale this summer to satisfy their financial situation. And there's a lot of people saying could be Bastoni the one, because he obviously can get a lot of money for him.
There's him or Lautaro, isn't it?
Or Barella, you know, get a lot of money for Barella. Yeah. But I think apparently Bastoni, maybe because he's a defender, you know, they might be looking at him and they to get rid of. So if that's the case, that would be a brilliant signing for Tottenham. Let's hope it happens.
Absolutely. Next up, Ivan Perisic, Fabrizio Romano today saying that Spurs and Chelsea are waiting for Perisic to make the decision, as both have approached the player. Well, it just says here Tottenham have approached the player. He's also had another approach from Inter Milan, which he's considering, and obviously a couple of approaches in England. Chelsea have got him because Marcus Alonso, isn't he, leaving the club in the summer. I think this would be an absolute brilliant signing for Tottenham.
I like him. I like Perisic. I think he's been a consistent performer for many, many years. I'm pretty sure he was even around in the Euro 2008 when Croatia were playing all those years ago. He's been around for. I saw I looked at his age. He's 33. It's like I swear he's been 33 for 10 years. Like I'm not joking. He's been 33 forever. But look,
never aging Ivan Perisic.
He's almost better than ever now. He's almost had one of his best seasons at Inter Milan, and he plays left wing back for them. Although we know he's a natural winger, he plays winger for Croatia. He's always been one of those wingers who does really good hard working on the left hand side. Always does his tracking back and everything, and so that's why he's a very good, effective left wing back. Because when he gets forward, he's very dangerous, but also he's very good defensively.
He's a grafter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always been. The only question is, at 33. Is he all 32, 33? Is he coming, to the end of he is coming to the end of his career, but how many years does he have right at the top level? That's obviously remains to be seen. You never know with players of that age. It can happen after one summer and that's it. They're just not at that level anymore. Yeah. But he's playing very well. And if we're convinced that he can still play at the level he's playing at for another few years, he's definitely worth having.
100%. A free transfer, bring him in. Ryan Sessegnon can learn a lot of him. And then when he leaves, he passes over the baton to Ryan, you know what I mean? And even so, whilst he's here, Sessegnon's still going to get a lot of minutes.
Having said that, I would definitely rather Kostic, just because he has a few years on him. I think you could argue
Kostic delivery, man.
You could argue Perisic might be a bit of a better player, but Kostic, he has a few years on him, and that final ball output is just to die for.
At the end of the day, I would welcome both with open arms. I really would. So whoever Antonio wants the most, and obviously he knows Perisic much better because he's managed him before. So I wouldn't mind either or Perisic or Kostic. But you guys let us know who you'd prefer, Perisic or Kostic. Let us know in the comment section below. Last bit of transfer news we have is on Cameron Carter-Vickers, as he has agreed personal terms with Celtic, and the Hoops have 3 weeks to conclude a $6 million deal with Spurs before other clubs can make their move. So he's agreed personal terms, but they actually haven't stumped up the cash yet to bring him over to Celtic. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Yeah, look, he's done very well there. Finally, it looks like he's found a home. So hopefully they get the deal done. I think he's been at Tottenham for way too long. So hopefully he gets the money that we've been waiting for pretty much for him.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about the England squad for the Nations League, as Eric Dier has been left out once again. Unbelievable, to be honest, with the season he's had and the names that have been called up ahead of him. First of all, Harry Maguire, who's been shocking all season, which is a joke. You've got Connor Cody in there, which I think Dier's been miles above Connor Cody this season. Mark Guehi, fair enough. I think he has had a strong season, but I still think Dier's been better than him. Who else has been there? It's got Bakayo Tomori, fair enough.
Won the league, done very
just
well.
Won the league at AC Milan, which is fair enough. Ben White, he's had a strong season, but I still think Eric Dier's been better than him.
Definitely of the last few, in the last few months, Dier's been well clear of Ben White. Ben White's not been that impressive the last few months of the season.
No, I agree with that. And John Stones, I'm not really sure how John Stones got on this season.
I mean, John Stones is still pretty good whenever he plays, I think.
Eric Dier, when you read out those names of centre-backs, Eric Dier should be at least second or third on that list.
Agreed. He's had a fantastic season, Dier. Really fantastic. Gareth Southgate was asked to comment on his exclusion. He said, "I agree that Eric has played very well for Spurs. We know Eric. We don't know some of these youngsters, so we felt these are good matches to find out more about them. Eric is obviously playing in the middle of a three. It's a very specific position he's playing in, and the team have been excellent at the end of the season. So we may well play with a three. We may well play with a four. We've got cover to do each of those things over the next few weeks, but he's definitely in our thinking. But at this moment, we can't give everybody time on the pitch that we would like to, and we felt that investment in Tomori, Guehi, and Ben White in particular, those younger ones ahead of Eric, for this camp would be more valuable to us." Ledley King was asked about it. He said, "I think Eric's been as good as any this season in terms of his consistency, in terms of his communication and trying to help others. That's something that really stood out. I'm sure he's a vocal leader in the back for Spurs, and I think he's been really unlucky to miss out on the England squad. In my eyes, he's done enough for sure." What do you think of Southgate's excuse not having Dier in there? I mean, like, you could say the same about Kane. Why is he calling up Kane then? He knows about Kane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Kane is captain, though. A bit of a different in that sense. But I can't.
It's Nations League. You go there to win it, no, not to just try people out. Surely.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, and I think it's a joke that Eric Dier has been left out. I really do. But from what he's saying, I kind of take from that he might get a call up for the World Cup if he carries on that form from now until then. Yeah,
but I just feel like the reason I don't like that excuse is because Dier hasn't been part of the England setup for about a year now. And so I think it should, first of all, it's good recognition, like that he gets called up. Why is Conor Cody up in front of him? There's no reason for Conor Cody. It's not like Conor Cody's been good for England. Was he? I don't think so. So why is he ahead of Eric Dier? That makes no sense. Harry Maguire, look, I think he's had a shocking season, but at least he has been good for England. You can't deny that. So I understand that. But why? I can't think of a single reason why Conor Cody's there ahead of him. There's no reason.
Even with Harry Maguire, yeah, fine, he's been good for England, but you have to take the club form into account. He's been a car crash this season.
I know, but I'm just saying I can understand that he's been good for England, so that's why he's called up. But I don't understand why Conor Cody's there. I just don't understand why he's head of Dier, because Dier, because he's been out of the team for so long, out of the camp, like it's a very new camp now compared to probably where he was when he came in, and the different players and stuff like that. So he needs time to adjust to all the different players and to learn how they like to play. So I actually think it's not just because you know him because he's been in previous England squads doesn't mean he shouldn't deserve a chance to be part of this New England squad, especially in this Nations League. I don't buy this excuse from Gareth Southgate. I think Dier is more than
worthy enough. Down to, I mean, why is he being left out?
Don't know. Maybe he just doesn't think he can. Maybe he's planning on playing. The only thing I can think about is he's planning on playing a four at the back, and he doesn't think Dier.
And if he is planning on playing a four at the back, is that not quite kind of fair enough? Because he's not that good in a two.
I mean, you can say the same with Cody. He plays in a three at the back. So no, any excuse you could use for Dier being left out, you can say for Cody. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I don't understand why Cody's there.
You're right. So anyway, Eric Dier, keep your head up. You'll be going to that World Cup. I'm pretty certain of that. But it's just unfortunate that you haven't been called up here. I mean, 6 centre-backs have been called up for these 2 games in the Nations League.
Yeah.
6. And Eric Dier apparently has not been one of the 6 best centre-backs for English.
Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Absolute terrible. But anyway, they're actually, on what we were talking about before with the investment, Ali Gold has given a slight bit of update. And he says the bulk of the £150 million, as well as funds from sales, will be ploughed into backing Antonio Conte in this transfer window. So absolutely great news. We'll be bringing you some more content. We'll be wrapping up the season with the Premier League's perspective as well, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.